Fiishi, down and up and down and up and down and up and down and up and oh, are we? Is this thing on? Are we live? You didn't see me playing with that fishy up there, did you? No? Okay, let's turn on the lights so you see a bit more. And actually, maybe you want to see a bit more of the code and a bit less of me, but that's fine with me if you don't want to see me. You don't want to see me. Why am I doing this? Because I want to do this, so I'm looking at me right now, so. Oh, it's getting hot in here. If I start to sweat, you can see the code through my skull. So let's minimize me. Oh well, let's not minimize me. Let's go over today's goals. I tweaked the goals a bit. We said we clean up the packer even more, and we look into the next tool, and it kind of changed my mind because this remember that file name to CRC handling we saw last time, which probably has been broken for 5 years, and I'm a bit scared that might actually blow up in my face. So I want to investigate a little bit, and I'm winging this. I have no idea how exactly to do this, so you can follow me along. After that, remember the loops helper we talked about? Basically this here to replace this whole mess. I actually want to give that a first step and see if you can do that, because that might come in handy and also help a bit with the error handling paradigm we're starting to develop, where I'm not sure of what the actual thing will be. And then bonus content, if we get there, I want to start adding unpack support. So packing is nice, but having the same tool to unpack what it packed might come in handy. Oh, excuse me. And so I wanted to start to look into that as well. So shall we dive in? Mm. One more thing which I totally forgot. There will be 2 streams today. I will stream, I don't know. I aim for around 90 minutes. If you're done in an hour, fine. If you're not done in 2 hours, I'm gonna cut it short. And then I'll do a second stream. We'll play a bit. We'll play Burnout Paradise on the PS4. There is a reason for that. I will get into that later, so watch later again. So now we dive into the Fiiish Rust coding stuff. Can I say stuff on stream? Is it okay to say stuff? So the file name to CRC handling. I actually think the CRC handling is solid. I mean, this is just do IEEE checksum. That should be fine. We're talking about the name cleaning, to be precise. And actually, let me look into Sublime for a moment. I'm not sure if we committed everything. Yeah, this is just ideas I had, so I'll go into that later. Commit message, updated, to do. Just want to start from a clean slate. Yeah, so this is the, let's open a new window here. I don't want to install Windows updates, thank you. And then we open the Fiiish directory here just in a second. Sublime instance. And not sure, make this a bit smaller. And actually we were talking about 3 variants. So we had the tools pack file here. So basically this here. And then we had I think it was the archive file stream CPP, which basically on open did a CSC get lower. Okay, so this is in crc.cpp, so we want to open crc.cpp. So basically this here is a third variant of that. And actually I want to create a little sample, and I'm gonna do that in the Fiiish context. CRC issue sample. Yeah. It helps if you can type sample. Okay, and so I want to create a C++ version, a Ruby version, and a Rust version, and then compare the outputs. So I'm gonna go into C++. Actually, it's just C. So let's call it crc issue c.cpp. Yeah, it's crc issue c, and actually I want exactly this block here without the hash, obviously. So I'm just let me think through this. So we can just gcc o crc issue. Maybe we should use a C++ compiler, but oh, I switched to Z shell. I didn't know. So this basically does nothing. Nice, and I could do a makefile for this, but I just go, yeah. I just put this in the to compile. I'm lazy today. So what I want to do is we could fuss this. We could generate random strings and then put them into the three binaries, so the C++ version, the Ruby version, and the Rust version, and compare the output and just fuss until we hit a problem. But if I look into this, which I just copied, it works on a character basis anyway, and it's only ASCII strings, and it's technically only, do we have the ASCII table on here still? Yeah, so technically it's only the first 127. Well, we're probably not gonna have a delete character in a file name for now, and no control characters in file names. So what we could do, we can just start at the 32 here and go to the 126 and just loop over them. I mean, if anybody puts these in file names, oh, the umlauts might be, well, we can just use 0 to 255. I'm not sure why my encoder is, whoa. Interesting. Looks like Firefox is doing something crazy. This seems to be stable, so it's dependent on the scroll position. Yeah, buy a better grabber. This is actually one of the most expensive ones in the market because I wanted to grab 4K and it doesn't. Different story. So 0 is a termination character, so we could just go from 1 to 255 and then compare the output. So we loop from 1 to 255, convert that to an ASCII character, convert that to a 1-character string, run it through this function here, and then convert that back to a hex code, and then just compare the hex codes. Okay, so we want an unsigned char, and then we just say clean up. Okay, we're gonna go clean up character, clean up character, and that also just gets an unsigned char input. And then we just say, okay, we take exactly this block. We take exactly this block. And actually, we can call this C. This is not doing any cleanup at all, right? This is not doing any cleanup at all. This is just lowercasing it. And I wonder why this works. So let's go to Xcode. And I said this will be very investing. So when we find a file, well, when we open a file, we pass in the file name. So this is called, for example, we load the configuration. All right? Just, where's my, okay. Actually, this is not used, so we load an image, right? We load a game overlay. Remember? That's the one we did. So let's start from the top. So here in the overlay manager render, we render the overlay. That was a bit too deep. And then this is a texture name, right? Right. I don't. Let's actually, okay. We go here. Actually, we go here, set a breakpoint, and just start it. I just want to see what kind of file names we pass in. I seriously doubt that. Oh. Maybe we should run a debug version. Helps if you want to debug. Running. Okay, so yeah, this was probably, so this is the full file name it's trying to open, and actually all opens go through this, so this wasn't the smartest idea. Where was our there? So actually we want to, let's go into the archive file stream open, because that actually, this actually, let's put the breakpoint here and just keep running. No, I want to continue. I always, when switching between. So this here is checking for default texture.png. So file name is default texture.png, and then that goes straight in here. It says add lower, and then it probably is going to get here without ever going to get here because the breakpoint is wrong. So this is the D. You can see it down here. That's what I'm watching. Default text to dot. So it's keeping the dot in the hashed file name. Dot PNG. So the dot is still there, right? Then I wonder why when we did this here, we explicitly said, oh, we mapped the dot to the dot, so the dot stays the same, which is fine for the moment. So all good. So I'm going to ignore the C version for the moment. Oh, I'm going to write out the C version. Never mind. I'm going to write out the C version just to show you what so basically we do this and then we return C. So what we said we do for unsigned char C equal input equals 1. Input is larger than 0 and then plus plus input. I mean, it will wrap. So it counts from 1 to 255. The next one will overflow and then this will break. So if we just do a printf percent 0 to uppercase X and then a new line and then just do input and then we do this. Fair enough. We wanted C++, so oh, it's not standard lib, it's obviously standard IO. And we looked at Ruby code. So if we run this, we just get the list of hex codes from, you can see it, I can't. Hex codes from 01 to FF, right? This is here. Let me just make this terminal smaller and increase the font size a bit. So this is what we wanted, and then we actually want output equals cleanup character input. And then we just say, okay, same pattern, percent 0 to X, comma, output. Just do the minimal test case here. So if we take a quick look at that, everything almost stays the same. And then here, so quick look at the ASCII table just so you. So what we expect is that the uppercase letters, so 65 or hex 41 to hex 5A, Firefox is somehow killing the grabber, which is a bit annoying. So hex 41 to hex 5A should end up being hex 61 to hex 7A, and everything else stays the same. And if you look here, 40 is 40, 41 is 61, 42, and so on, and that goes on till 5A, which is the uppercase D, goes to the lowercase c, and everything else is untouched by the C code. So this is step 1, and we're just gonna write that to dot C++ dot txt. So dot C++ dot txt, and it's in there. And then we do the same for Ruby. So touch crc issue ruby.rb, and this is gonna be. I haven't. Do you know how many years I haven't written any Ruby code? So I'm just gonna cheat a bit. Okay, this looks fine to me. And then how does the main look in Ruby? Oh, there's no main. So how does a loop look in Ruby? Don't ask me. This is so long ago. Can we just steal something somewhere? Oh man, I haven't touched Ruby in years, so I'm gonna and I'm gonna Google this off screen because I don't want you to suffer through the Ruby for loop. Loops in Ruby. Can I get the official? Oh, there was. Couldn't we just do? I didn't find it yet, but couldn't we just do this? Each do input. Was it something like this? Not too bad. And then how do I output? Sorry, this is so freaking long ago. Oh, does it need to be? Oh, first of all, it needs to be 3 dots, right? And then it needs to be actually mixing languages in my head, and I really want to get rid of all that Ruby, but this is printing numbers from 1 to 255 to 54, so it's exclusive. So this is inclusive with the 2 dots. So next question, Ruby print formatted. It's so long ago, sorry. I don't know. Is there printf? So I think we can just say percent and then give it an array, and actually we have to say ox percent o2 uppercase x. Is this the way to do it? Yeah. So all we need is the Ruby version of this cleanup character. So we're just gonna do the same thing. So we have a definition, def clean up, clean. I don't know why I wrote clean up. And basically, I just stole this from any of these, and I just pass in the character. So I just gonna pass in input, and then for the time being, I just return output. So I say output equals clean up character of input, and then I just gonna output the output. And again, mixing languages in my head, always the worst case scenario, but yeah. Okay, so this obviously is doing nothing. And now the thing is, we could just copy the C code, but we don't want to copy the C code. We want to basically do this. So what we want to return is, I'm pretty sure that this will not work because this is a character and this expects a string, I guess. Yeah. So how do I create a string from a character? Ruby create, and I'm thinking out loud here, create string from byte. Okay, so let's do this and actually name equals, we can just do an array with just one thing, and then obviously we can just do a string pack on this and just say, okay, I want one character. Let's just put this, output this here. Yeah, this looks about right. So the 20s, the 30s in hex should be the numbers. So this looks okay. So this is actually this number because we output it first. So this looks kind of okay. And then can we just say, can we just reassign? So if we look at the uppercase letters here, we see it at least does the uppercase to lowercase. So this conversion is nice, but then obviously we want, we do want, so how do we pack that? So we want to, if we just do this, we probably just get the character. Yeah, we just get one character, and we probably can't just output this, because then again it will, yeah, it expects. Oh, I think we can just say this. Was it ORed? Yeah, so let's clean up this mess here. So again, somewhere in the 4 ones we expect the uppercase to happen, so the uppercasing here works. And quick look, does it change anything else? So everything else stays unchanged. So if I ruby.txt, just go here and say diff side by side c++.txt and ruby.txt. It says, hey, there are no differences. So let's just say there was some junk here. We would see it here, difference. So if we just do a grep for the pipe, it shows us only the different lines. So the C++ version and the Ruby version are identical. Why? Oh. So shall we do the Rust version? Yeah, let's do the Rust version. Rust. The extension might have told me already what I needed to know, but issue Rust. Basically now we're just gonna steal from here. So we have a main function that does nothing, and then we can just do Rust help man Rust, oh, Rust C help Rust C dash H. Okay, Rust C dash O CRC issue Rust CSC issue.rs, and then we just run it, and obviously no output, so We'll do exactly the same here. So we have a function that says cleanup character that gets input U8 and returns a U8. And for now, we just return the input just to get this. And now we need the for loop. And I just have the official Rust documentation open here. So basically in Rust, we say for input in 1, 2, is this inclusive or non-inclusive? Well, we find out in this. I think in Rust it's non-inclusive, so, and then we just say print line, yeah, format is fine, and say input. So if we just do this for the moment, yeah, dead code, but we get the, again, the 1 to 255. And, whoa. And then let output equal cleanup character input. And I have no idea to format hex, so I'm gonna look that up in a second. Okay. Thanks for being helpful. I mean, the error message actually teaches me, it says, okay, 256 cannot fit into the U8, but you might have used an inclusive range instead, which is actually quite nice. So again, Rust print line format hex. So standard format says basically use this for hex. This is just the Rust book, and we want the 0x there. Oh, Rust automatically adds the 0x there. So can I get an uppercase? Can I just do uppercase because the other ones are uppercase? Okay, if I would do this now to rust.txt and then go back and just do the diff, and I actually don't care with which version. Obviously, we're not cleaning up anything, so I expect all the uppercase to be wrong, but looky. Oh, it's not zero prefixing it, which is a bit annoying. Which is a bit annoying. Oh, wait. This here is not the number of digits, it's the number of characters, I guess. Let's compile this. We really need a make file. Yeah, now the format is better. And if I pipe this here and go here and then do the diff. Hmm. Okay, let's actually put the cleanup character code here. I mean, this is what we wanted, right? So it's this here. It's kind of this here. So let's paste this here for a moment. And so actually let output and we called it name, so let name equal we do the same in Rust string from byte. So we can do from UTF-8 and just have an array. And probably we need to unwrap this because it might go wrong, but we don't care. Right, and then we just put the input byte in the beginning here. So this should just okay. Oh, obviously we don't want to do that. Actually, we want to do this. We want the same code. We just gonna reuse name all over the place here. This is name, this is name, this is name, this is name. And obviously, oops, we have to use standard string here to get the to lowercase and from UTF-8. Oh, and yes, we want to borrow here. Okay, let's just say, let's just do it like this, because we don't want the temporary to be freed. Semicolon missing, yep. And we're not using the name, so Rust first byte of string, and I'm pretty sure it's just gonna be a kind of a slice. You can probably just do here name as bytes and then index that. Probably. You see, I'm. Oh, 100. So if you leave off the semicolon here, this one here, it basically says return this. Oh, it panics. So it works, it works, it works. Everything is. So the first, we ignore the first, wait a second. Let me. So why is this 2-character? Oh, strings in Rust might not be 0 terminated. Better. And it panics at 7F because 80 is not a, so yeah. we said from the start we don't care about the lower. We said from the start we ignore everything from 80 onwards, hex 80 onwards. So basically the magic here, because we're actually using UTF-8 and not ASCII, and UTF-8 is second code page, and I have no idea what Firefox is doing, and it's interesting. So let's put this into the rust.txt, and actually let me open this C++ version here, because we said we only want to go. So as long as it's smaller than 80, and in the Ruby case, we also want to say OX80. So we go to the C++ version and just say G++, and then we say crc issue C. Nope. So we just say and pipe this to the C++.txt. Then we go to the Ruby version and Ruby pipe the Ruby version to the Ruby.txt and say, so this is nice. Ruby is inclusive. Ruby version. And if we do our diff now, we see that the actual differences are okay. This everything. So the Rust version converts every character below up to 1F to a space. So can I get this to not flicker? Yeah. No. So these are all characters we don't care about. So that's fine. So basically the first column here. Then 20. 20 is fine because 20 is a space, but then actually C doesn't do anything to exclamation mark and quote and hash, and while Rust is converting all of them to space, basically everything. Oh, this is an ugly list. So basically everything from 2.1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 is fine, because we obviously have it here, the percent. 2.5 is fine. 7, 8, 9, A, B, C, D, E is fine. 2E is the dot, obviously. We have that dot here. 2E is fine. F 3.0 to 3.0 is basically the 0 to 9 here, so 3.0 to 3.9 is fine. Then 3A to 40 is fine. So I wonder, we could probably just get away with saying everything between, let's say I don't care about the lower 20. They're fine. Actually, this Rust version probably is more correct. What I care about is 20 or 21, and that is the exclamation mark up to the 40 hex 40, which is the add character. So probably everything from exclamation mark to including the add character just stays the same, and that's it. dot, the dash, and the percent probably in there. Dot, dash, percent, and I'm wondering if the underscore, where is the underscore is a 5f here. Well, so we have a nice big range here. Let's just go back to the Rust version. Let's recompile this. Yeah, we should really have a make file. If I just rerun the diff now. So again, ignoring everything to 1f, and then the next disagreement is 5b, 5c, 5d, 5e. So it's 5b. So the square bracket, the underscore is a missing 5f up to the 60, so the square bracket to the backtick. And I like this to be very explicit here, so the square bracket to the backtick. I hope this is a correct backtick. There are too many backtick variants. So Rust sees, yeah, this is this backtick here was not well received. Can we just say we know the backtick character is the hex 60? Can we just say match up to hex 60? Oh, yeah, thanks for letting me know. This was the problem. Okay, so this pattern is now unreachable because the underscore is in this branch, and now we just recompile it, run it, and diff it. And now we have 7b, c, d, e, f left. 7b, c, d, e, and f, and actually f, delete character I don't care about, but let's match the curly brace till the tilde. So actually the documentation on Ruby there was a bit wonky, I guess that's where the problem started from. And then explicitly match 7f just to have everything in there. Oh. Expected char found integer. Yeah, I'm not sure how to match how to create. I'm just gonna ignore the del for the moment. Because this is going far too far. And then rerun it. Rerun the diff. And now at least for every sane character, it's fine. So in theory, we can remove this and copy this block and go back here and just do like this, obviously. And now the names should be better in the packer. So if we go to here and just say cargo build, obviously we have to go into the source directory and say cargo. Oh, what did I break? Oh, was it clean name? Yeah, it was clean name in this case. So clean name. And this was downcase name. Yeah, we shouldn't have touched it so much, but consistency. And if we just go here and run pack again, this should be fine. And if we look into pack here, and actually what we're gonna do is we do a touch test data weird name underscore, let's quote this, weird name.txt, and we're gonna put the, I would love to put all of them in here. So sorry for the ASCII table. I'm not sure what will. It's gonna be an interesting case. $% ampersand. Do we have to escape it? Tick braces star plus. We have to take back to dash dot is in there, colon semicolon smaller equals bigger question mark, brace 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 backslash backslash tilt tilt. This is gonna, which event is it looking for? Oh, okay. And now we're gonna open the pack list, the pack list in the test data, and say, please add this. And actually, we're also gonna just a file with a very weird name. And if we run pack on this, it will say, hey, they differ. Obviously, because this file here, and I totally forgot how we created it. Oh, I know how we did it. So we used the Fiiish 2.1 tools and then the matpack. And then the matpack. Oh, actually, we use this script. So we call matpack. We say Ruby matpack. The baster is test data. The file we want to test against is the expected result Omar. So it's this. We should have scripted this. I agree. Test data. This, right? So I think if I look at the CRC here, the CSC is different. It is still different, so the files differ because the CRCs differ. So which character did we miss? I thought the Ruby version agrees with which character did we miss? So basically, if we scroll here, this is a Ruby code and this is the CRC it gets for this weird name. So this is the actual output. Oh, so we have a backslash in there. Let's quickly. So this is Ruby after the cleanup, and this is Rust after the cleanup. So this is Rust after the cleanup. And you see the double backslash here. Ruby takes this as a literal backslash, and Rust takes it as a double backslash. So I would say backslashes in file names are never a good idea. So what I'm gonna do is go to test data and move the weird name to holy sh. So there's a double backslash here that I'm gonna remove, and basically between the percent and the ampersand I'm gonna remove this, and then obviously in the packed list I'm gonna remove these two as well. It's just too much. Oh, wrong directory. So this is a Ruby weird name .txt new Ruby version, and the CRC was never there. Sorry, my bad. And now we do the pack, and this is a Rust fixed name, and what we can see is Ruby is removing the space, is removing the dot, and Rust is keeping the dot. So maybe if I this was previous and right now we're comparing these two, and the difference here is Ruby is so this is fine. Has another backslash before the backtick. As okay, so I'm chickening out here a little bit, but I doubt there will be ever a tick in the name. And actually, I'm gonna also remove the tilde, because no, just no. So if I go to the pack list here, I don't want the, what did I remove? I removed the tick. I don't want the tick quotation, and I don't want the tilde in a valid file name anyway. So, and actually I don't want the pipes and the ampersand, but since they kind of work, so we're gonna run the Ruby version. So, so this is another Ruby version, and then we're gonna run the Rust version. And for some funny reason, Ruby eats the, so it eats the closing square brace, and actually I'm fine with that, because this should all be documented somewhere, but we're rewriting this thing anyway, so weird name to weird name, and we remove the two. We remove these two here, because, yeah, they shouldn't be there in the first place, and I'm tempted to remove the ampersand, but is it eating? Star and question mark and file names are not a good idea. So final underscore final. And actually there's one thing I don't like at all, because what is strange and what I don't get, because this worked before, right? Really? Question mark? So the Ruby version was actually totally wait, is it just eating one character? Is it just... Oh, Ruby is eating the character in front of the dot, I believe. MP remove the question mark. Obviously, we remove the question mark here. And I think this Ruby code was broken forever. Ruby is eating the character before the dot? No, it doesn't. Something super fishy is going on here. Oh, I'm gonna take this out for the moment. We're much closer to what we want, and this is fine now. So I would say that the investigation is good enough for now. And actually, I kind of had hoped to use half an hour for this, and we're an hour in, so let's leave it at this. I mean, obviously, this change here is already much better. It's much more robust, and maybe we just have to, once we release a new spec for the pack files, we have to document the file name here really good. And it will fall apart as soon as you have emoji or shit in there. Emoji or stuff in there anyway, so I would say this is good enough for now, and I'm gonna actually stage this and say how do we say this? Aligned file name cleanups to match Ruby version. Ruby version was broken, is broken. And this actually will go onto the so if we take the lib, actually the loader, so the CRC 32 CPP. So this loop here, this well, the CRC is not broken, but this name should be cleaned up, and I wonder how this could have ever worked in any sensible way, because we didn't have any strange characters in the name. So magic hand wave to kind of say, oh, okay, good enough, works. We don't know why, but the thing is, this archive file stream, this here. So the secret agenda is to replace this with Rust code anyway. So once this archive implementation is complete, this has read and write support, and then we just use that, so we have one source of truth, and the file format is contained into this one thing, or maybe have exactly one implementation of the name cleanup helper, and then you can spec that as good as you want. You see, it will deviate and nobody will realize, but if it's exactly the same line of code, it will just work. So I would say investigation done, future document and unify CRC name cleanups. I hope you didn't hear that. So yeah. Schwere Geburt, we used to say. This was tough stuff. So normally I would go for a walk around the block now, but we have this create loop of a lines helper thing, and I really want to get there. I want to get there, so let's get there. So the idea was to have this shorter, so why don't we just implement this? I mean, and I'm gonna implement it right here, helper, and then we have an implementation. And sorry for making this mess, and it's actually an implementation. And then we have a function that doesn't say self, but it's just, is it open file list? I would say it's called lines. Let's call it file names in file. Super sorry, but that might be important. Nope. File names in file. And then we just get we borrow the file name, and that is a string. And then we return a vector of string, right? So we could just say vec new blah done. And then let's just execute the plan here. And say file names in file pack list. and actually do a print line here for the time being. And all of this can be gone, right? Correct. So if we go here, this is tools, this is CRC, this is the packer. So just go to packer and say cargo build, and all of it is wrong. Unused import, wait, what? Mismatched types. Oh. How much Rust code did we write? Yeah, we switched to Ruby today, but probably it's more like this. So 0 files added, because obviously this returns an empty thing. So what we actually want to do is what we actually want, and I'm gonna leave this vec new, this empty vector here. So this is a file. It's not a pack list anymore. It's just any file name, right? And then So okay, we're returning an error here, so this should probably be a result. So it's a result of vector, of string, or just and I really want to get away from the string errors here, but for the time being, that's good enough for me. And it's actually already on the to-do, so this is the idea, but let's not get into that right now. So this returns an OK vector. And now we obviously have to unwrap it. I don't know why I keep typing minus minus. So if I do a cargo build here, obviously it needs to let's just be lazy and do an unwrap or vac new. I'll make this window bigger and the font bit smaller. Is this still readable? No, make the font bigger again. So basically this does nothing yet. Let's actually do a cargo run. Oh, and then I'm just gonna say cargo run dash 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 base pass is dot test data dash dash output is test data test 1 to 2 dash dash pack list is dot test data. And obviously it's adding 0 files, because so if I have a wrong pack list here, it will still add 0 because we run it the unwrap or here. We could just say unwrap here, which will probably just panic. So we need to do add better error handling, and yeah, we shifted the error. So what we want to do, and probably I don't like this because we basically we're okay. So this is just the reader, nothing changed, and then we create a vector of the files, and then just so what we could do is let files, and then unwrap, we print it here, yeah, and then just say files dot push file name, and obviously we don't archive here, and here we just return an OK files. Oh, obviously it's just the buff reader now. And this is just a string array. Oh, this is the empty one. Okay, 4 files added. So this, you could say this is a bit silly. I mean, we read over the file and create the vector in memory and then return the vector, which gets iterated. We could kind of use a streaming approach here, but then on the other hand, I mean, how many files are there going to be in the pack file? 1,000, 10,000, so 100,000 files in one archive. 100,000 files in one archive, which an average file name of like 20 bytes. So we still talk about less than 2 megabytes, and it's just, let's just be super lazy here. I mean, I think this is so much more readable than this, right? So let's just yeah, we have the better error handling. So this is pretty straightforward, right? Use the helper that gets the file names in a file, and this is probably can handle stuff like escaping and commenting out, and maybe conditional include files, conditional macros includes, etc. So we everywhere where we need to iterate over a file, we're going to use this helper, and helper is probably not the best name, but as if I find something better, then we'll rename it. And actually, this is version 2, so let's do this. And obviously, I mean, we're kind of doubling the file name output here, so we can remove this here and then just run this, and this looks good. And if I go here now and say pack, it's still okay. It added 4 files. It's still okay. So that's kind of nice. There's one thing I want to put on the list here. I'm not sure if it's next time or, oh yeah, we started using Sublime Merge, so we can actually move that from here to. I wish it wouldn't scroll forever, but down here, and actually this font is too small. So replace error strings with better solution. And yeah, we did this. We did this here. I mean, once we pushed it, we did this. And I intentionally stayed in this directory. I could just have created another one, but let's not make a new directory for every commit. It's more like big leaps. And this was quite a big leap, and we iterate on version 2 now for a while. And yeah, Shall we push this? Let's push this. One more thing. I have the helper smack in the middle of the archive implementation here, and actually it's under the packer, so in the future probably entry is gonna be one file, archive is gonna be one file, helpers is gonna be one module, one crate even, packer is gonna be one module or file at least, and then we just have the main. So no, I want to stage the, what did I, one file. So added first version of loop over lines in file helper. Commit this, fetch in case somebody rebase, push, no conflicts, yay. So yeah, we're getting there. Why is this flickering? I don't get it. So this is a packing, and I want to look into the bonus, and we start looking into this. So basically what I want to start to look into, I have this pack command here, and actually here was the Ruby line. So I'm gonna copy the pack.sh to unpack.sh, and then have the unpack, and Ruby doesn't have an unpack, so I'm gonna remove this, and test is actually to do. I don't care about this right now. And what I want to do is I want this to unpack the input file, and actually I want exactly this, the input file to target pass, and that is test output. Unpacked data, unpacked data, and the rest goes away. So I would like this to work, and obviously if I run this now, it's gonna say, hey, argument unpack, what the hell are you telling me to do? And so actually I want to, for symmetry, now we have this kind of command here. I want this also to be pack. We could say if we have an output we want to pack, and if you have an input we want to unpack, but that's a little bit too much magic for me. So I would say we start with implementing the pack here to understand the packing mode, and then we switch to the unpack. So because when I run this now, pack wasn't expected, so I go to the source directory, and this still works, but now we have the additional pack here now, and obviously pack wasn't expected, right? So remember how we parse the command line arguments? We have this big block of clap basically here, and clap has this concept of subcommands. So basically I can say packs data into archive, or unpacks data from archive. And we can go much further, but okay. So we have this concept of subcommands here in pack, and basically it's subcommand with name, and you can just look into the clap documentation, but basically the subcommand here is pack, and then all the arguments are basically, so I can, if I do this, and I hope so basically we moved all the arguments into this subcommand. So if we, okay, it doesn't found the subcommand because when we use clap here, we actually have to tell it to use subcommand. And that's something that we have to import it into the namespace. So it worked, but obviously our unwrapping is different now. So basically we have to match now. So okay, let's print these matches and then just do nothing afterwards. Okay, so we have the args, we have some subcommand. So what we can do is we say match matches. What was the name? Can we? So I'm not sure how I match on what I match. Oh, I actually match on subcommand, right? I match on the subcommand, and for now we just say we match anything to unhandled. Oh, we just match like this. Why? Oh. So it said unhandled some subcommand. So we could just probably say subcommand can we just match by name? Well, let's just do this step by step. Let's assume I'm too stupid to read documentation. Assume I'm too stupid to read documentation. Why can't I match on subcommand? Do I have to match in subcommand pack? Okay, let's open the documentation for good. Documentation. I'm just gonna drag this in real quick because it will flicker, but basically if you look here, we just did the official documentation. And I'm just gonna move this off screen because I don't know. I have to figure out why Firefox is killing the grabber, but so how do I use this? Only 8 pages in the documentation about subcommands, so basically this supposedly returns a tuple. So dot subcommand, and we're gonna so this returns a tuple, and the first is the command, and the rest is the arguments. So we can say we do a if let. I'm gonna get into that, but basically pack some, and we're gonna reuse matches here just so we don't have to. Oh, we're gonna call it sub matches. And we say matches.subcommand, and then we do print line pack submatches. So basically we say if this matches this, so the first member of this tuple it's returning is matching this string here, and the second is matches this, then assign it into the submatches and run this code. It's a bit hard to read in the beginning, but you get used to it. And actually down here, okay, we have the pack. So in theory, we can just take this whole block now, put it in here. And this is the moment where I usually would do a function for this. And basically it's the, am I lazy? So this still works as before. And if I say, hey, unpack, it says, hey, did you mean pack? And that's, I have no idea what the, yeah, but basically now the pack is still working. Well, the pack is working if we add pack to it. So if we go one directory up now and say pack, it still works. The only change is that we have the explicit command in here now, which I kind of like. So let's quickly look over it. So Yeah, we added the pack here. I'm not sure what is going on. I'm probably gonna stop this at any point now. I mean, we wanted to start with the packer, and yeah, we staged this, we moved the arcs into the subcommand, and then this all looks good. Maybe we make it a bit less noisy here. We leave this here for reference. And I'm sorry about the glitching. I have no, obviously. And I'm gonna get rid of all those warnings, but the question is, so we stage this, and I have one untracked file, which is we really need to write a git ignore. And we want to stage this, and actually I want I don't want the weird name in there right now. So moved packing into subcommand pack. What's the time? Okay, we're good on time. So I want to try to go into the unpack. So basically let's be lazy. So assume pack and unpack are the same. But obviously we want unpack here. And we said unpack has a target pass and not a base pass. So it's target pass, target pass, target pass, set the target pass. Then it has an input instead of an output. Input, 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 set the input file name, and it obviously doesn't have a pack list. I'm pondering if we could have an optional pack list that says unpack only these files, but for now it's just unpack everything. So if I go to the packer here and just do the cargo run, nothing has changed. But we can do actually let's steer this, look at this. So we want unpack with target pass, and the target pass is actually unpack data. We don't have a pack list. This is the input, input, and this is the target pass is unpacked data. And basically it says, okay, fine, whatever. I mean, we can just and says, hey, are you sure? So this seems to be working. And obviously this is doing nothing, and we can just say, basically we could just copy this whole block. Cut and paste means the pattern works. So unpack, we don't have a base pass, we have a target pass. Obviously this is a target pass, and this is input, and this is input, and the default is, yeah, I'm pondering if we want a default here and we don't have a pack list. So, by the way, what's with the white space here? This is too many blank lines. And then we just ignore this for the moment. This file contains an undisclosed delimiter. What did I... Oops. Okay, and obviously the parameter test I did. Okay, this looks good. So why don't we just create an unpacker? So we have an unpacker, and to be cleaned up, and that unpacker has a target pass, and I'm not sure. So target pass, which is a string, and then I'm gonna put the input before, because the data flow should be from left to right. And then, yeah, we just return a result, the number of files, and the static string that we want to get rid of, and gets to the point where if we don't get rid of it soon, it will be more work in the future, but I can live with this for now. So this is the unpacker signature, and this will just, for the time being, return an OK 0. And then basically down here, this is almost the same. I mean, we use the unpacker here, but we use the output, and yeah, whenever I'm too lazy to type, I cut and paste. Target pass, files extracted from archive. So, oops, this should be input. Okay, so far so good. So what do we do now? I mean, step one, ensure target pass exists, right? So how do we ask Ruby, Rust. Official Rust documentation. Check if directory exists. Standard pass. Okay, we have file system metadata. Standard fs metadata. Standard fs. This looks good. Ister. Okay. So and this should probably be a helper, but let metadata. Oh, okay. We kind of already used that. File system metadata for the pass. Let's call it. Let's stick with and then let passes. Can we use relative file names here? So up here we use full file name. do we need the base pass here? No, we know where the... Let's just try this. I'm just gonna... We get the metadata, and then we say if not metadata dot is dir. So if this is not a directory, return arrow. How did we do this? Arrow handling. Okay, just the pure string. Arrow target. For now, not found. And we return here, right? Oh, okay. So this, if this file does not exist, unwrap or can be? No. So the thing is, if let metadata equals. So the thing is, this here returns. What does it return? Oh, I was at the struct. It returns a result. So we could just simply unwrap it here. Let me kill this search here because it's better. We could just unwrap it, but yeah, this goes back to our IO arrow handling. So what we actually want to do is we match the fs metadata pass and say if this is any error, we do error and in the OK case metadata, we just return metadata. We just return the metadata and say metadata equals. So I'm not sure. This is very idiomatic. I'm learning Rust too. Yeah. So we get a result, and the result type, if it is an arrow, the arrow has a. Can I get this as a string? Can we just format this? No. Can we just format the arrow, please? Okay, fine. And then we just create a string out of it. Can we? Yeah, this is the arrow handling needs improvement. I'm just string new. Time to stop. Okay, better arrow handling. So we get the arrow to do because the directory does not exist. So if we don't get metadata, that means the directory does not exist, right? So what happens if we say touch? Now it does exist, but it's not a directory, right? Target pass is not a directory. And this is a hard error. Well, if a file exists that says then we're stuffed, right? If we this is a case, this is an okay case here. It exists and it's a directory, and this to do will be next time. Because there might be some check the parent pass, check permissions. Right now it's just hey, create this for me. Error target pass not found, right? But for now, let's focus on the unpacking because this is far more interesting. Sorry. And this could probably be just target pass here. Then we can ignore this. And then next step, actually it's the same. So, oh, almost. So check the input. Input not found, and actually is okay. Let me go to the documentation for file system meta. Is file is the input is not a file, right? So basically, if you say broken, input not found, and if we just give it the directory by accident, it says it's not a file. So this case says, okay, let's move on, and actually here we don't need to implement. So what we want to do now is we want to create an we want to create a new archive, and I think the base pass in this case is a target pass. So what we want to do is we create an archive. It's mutable, and I'll tell you in a minute why. Archive, create, target pass, and I'm not sure if it should be the archive's responsibility to store itself to the file system, but for now, I kind of say yeah, and maybe the pass is wrong here, and then we say archive.load, and we load the input file, and this is to do error handling, and then we tell the archive to unpack, and I'm leaning towards giving it the target pass here, and here just nothing, right? I don't like the nothing here. We think about the interface is work in progress as we learned. So basically what we want to do, we have an fn load gets a mutable self, because just like here, and then it gets wrong place, file name, it's a borrowed string, and then the return is just like in the save, it returns the number of loaded files, just for now, right? And then it's okay 0. That's the load, and then we have the other one, the archive unpack, and that gets a target pass, and then basically let's just copy this. I don't like the unpack name. Unpack. Oh, let's go with unpack for the moment. It's encapsulated enough. And this doesn't need to be mutable. And the unpack gets the target pass, right? So really, I cannot give it an empty string. Really, 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 really expected. Can we just borrow the slice? No. So basically we want to give it a string, right? Just an empty string. I need to work on my Rust, yes. Okay. So the general flow is working. All we have to do now is load in the file, byte by byte, load it all into, load the entries, and then dump them out, right? Pretty straightforward, and we're still within the 2-hour limit, so I'm just looking at this and wonder what's the best way to, I mean, this output here, we have the right little engine, and that's using the byte order crate. So if I go to crates.io and check for byte order and go to the documentation there, and that's just, it will flicker again, but that's just, maybe we get lucky with Firefox this time. So this can write and it can read. So this has a cursor, and I can just basically create a new cursor on the data and then just read it in one by one, and probably we're just going to do that. I think I might want to get rid of that byte order crate, but not today. So what do we want to do? So basically, we want to open the file, and that's basically we do that in our, where's our helper? We do that here. So basically we have a buffered reader, which is fine. I mean, and this probably will end up in another helper soon, but so we open the file name, error reading file, we have the buffered reader. And then we just say mutable cursor equals cursor new. Can we just create it on the buff reader? Well, this, I have no idea if this will work. Okay, we have to use standard IO cursor. And probably we don't really need a cursor, but this looks fine. So first we want to read 4 bytes magic header. And this is here, so we say So I'm wondering if we want to so what we could do is we could say let b equals cursor dot read u8, and then just unwrap or 0. And then this thing is we need to read the, so this is the header. Let's just copy this down here for reference. Read header, check magic, and we could just say if b, if, do we use if b not equals ox for f return error broken magic, right? So if you just say, I don't know, +5 here, method not found, cursor read u8. Oh, we need the byte order read bytes extension. Method not found in standard I/O cursor. I thought. This is actually a trait on everything that's readable, and a cursor should be. Can we just skip the cursor here? Can we just say we want the buff reader here? It will complain that we don't use the cursor here, but borrow. Okay, yeah. Cannot borrow as mutable because the buffered reader is not mutable. Okay, so we can forget the whole cursor mishmash. And it should say broken magic now. Why is it not saying broken magic? I want to see what B is. Okay, it's never getting here. Unpack. Why is it? It's getting into load, right? Ah, wrong key again. It's getting into load and then arrowing out. Oh, obviously we don't handle the arrow here and just get away, so we just do a print line broken magic here. It says broken magic. Okay. Not sure about the pattern yet. I would like some. If we remove this here, it should not say broken magic. Okay, it says 72, which is the magic, and yes, we could do it like this now. So I have an idea. Check the magic. So we say let magic equals actually this. And then say for m in magic. And then say if B is not magic, then. So this checks all 4 bytes. Yeah, we want to borrow. Really? So the magic is okay. Let's introduce broken magic here. Broken magic. Okay. This I'm pretty sure is very not idiomatic, but for now I don't care. So we say let v equals buff reader read u8, and the unwrap or here is just BS. If v not equals to return error wrong version. And I'm gonna remove this and actually do the error handling down here, because otherwise I have return print line, return print line, return print line. So I'm just gonna do the match archive load OKX just results in OKX, and error E results in return. We could have just caught it one level up, but return error E, but it also says print line, print line, print print line error in load. Oh, oops, that's not how you. Can I actually do a block here? Probably. Looks nice anyway. Cannot infer type of E. You cannot, because load always gets a U32. That's a bit. Can we just ignore this for now? Oh. Cannot infer type of E. There's no. There is no E here, right? Basically do nothing, please. Okay, so if we have the wrong version now, so let's say 5. Error unload, error wrong version. I have no idea. Oh, the top level already prints the error. Okay. Yeah, we call this quits soon. You still there? Yeah. So next we load the flags. And the flags we just load the flags. And for now, we just say flags not implemented yet. flags not implemented. And just put a to do. So, but for now, this should be 0 anyway. Okay. And then we want 2 zeros. I'm wondering if we should just read this to an array first and then. So remember this? Remember this? Yeah, I'm gonna do this. For reserved in 0 dot dot equals 2, was it? Set let r equals this, and then yeah, and then we say r reserved field not 0. What do you mean reserved field not 0? Can I get a so we get a 4f, we get this, we get the version, and then we have 3 zeros. So what did you, oh, he read the 4, he read this 4, so he read 3 zeros. So zeros at 1 and 2. Okay, so far so good. So we don't need the cursor here, just a bit of housekeeping. And what's next? So the next is a little endian number of files. So let number of files equal buff reader read. Let's see. Read LE. Okay. So read U32 and was it big or little endian? Unwrap or 0. We could use max U and 32 here just to signify something broken instead of it. I don't. Reading files from archive. And just for us, step by step by step. Usually I would just write this all down and then reading 4 files from archive. So we could say if this number is unreasonable high, something is broken, but for now, I mean, we're not destroying anything, so we just keep chugging along. And then we say, okay, we loop over the entries and create the entries. So the entry is an offset into this file. Now it gets, so I wanted to copy this as a reference. Thank you. So this is the directory. Just for reference, have it close by so I don't have to scroll constantly. I could just open a second view, but with the streaming, the monitor is too small. So for en0 to number of files, we do a let crc equal buff reader dot read u32, because that's what we're writing in little endian, and do a unwrap. Or the arrow handling needs to be massively better, but for now I just don't give a damn. This is a position, and this is a size, right? So now we read the whole directory, and since we haven't implemented the one flag, we can only name them by crc, but good enough for me. So now actually what we need to do is we need to add an entry, but not from a file name, but from archive. And now it gets a bit interesting. Okay. Basically, I'm gonna do add entry from archive. I'm not so sure this is what I want to do. Don't overthink this now. This is probably wrong. So we have the CRC, which is a U32. We have a position, which is a U32, and we have a size, which is a U32. And this just returns true. So if I go into the loader here, into the load, and say add entry from archive, do I have to? So basically it's it's I lost track. It's this dot crc pause size, and this does nothing right now. I just want to see it compiles. Okay, and basically then entry has a I'm not so sure this is the exact pattern I want to use. So it has a crc, it has a position, and it has a size. And actually I probably want to pass in a slice here, but let's see. So this will return an entry, and the base pass is basically nothing. The file name is nothing. The CRC is a CRC, and yes, let's make this internal data for the moment. For now, I just want to store it. And what we do here is basically, we do the same here, just different. Create. And then we do CRC position and size. And then we, okay. So what I want to do now is I'm gonna skip the loading of the actual data. I'm kind of want two different views in the same thing, and I'm not sure if this should be in the same class, so that's why we're running into this mental conflict right now, which I'm trying to resolve, but I just do the first dummy version and then. So I'm gonna do the unpack now, and basically I want to steal this loop and just do a print right now. Yeah, this loop was too much, but for entry and entries, its file name is basically target pass plus entry dot crc to string. Let crc name equal format. What was it? Hash x, 8x, 10x? Was it like this? We had it here. Oh, it was this here. And we want 10, right? 0, 10. I'm not sure why this is highlighted. This is. Maybe this is just a highlighting error. So we just print this out and be happy for now. And I have no idea. So this here, yeah, would be nice if we had printed the CRC in the pack as actually this for comparison. So we have the F9, we have the 88, the C3, and the 50. So this is a good start. Now all we need is the actual data, and I don't want to load the actual data from the thing is, no, when I load, do I want to allocate the memory here? Do I want to allocate the memory here? Probably yes. Right? The thing is, I don't want to skip through the... So here I read the header, and afterwards I read the data, and I don't want to read the header, seek forwards, read the data, read back, seek backwards, read next header. So I want this loop and then this loop. So what the load will actually do is this here. Actually, we will iterate over all the entries, and we want mutable entries. And then we'll give the entry a function that says load from archive, and I'm not happy about this archive thing. And what it basically gets is memory, right? I don't want, I want this to be a zero copy. But right now I just don't care, so I hand in data, and that is U8, right? So here I say entry.load from archive and say data, whatever data is. I mean, let data equal, for now I don't care, right? Oh. Okay. I always mix up the... I don't want to... I want to... so for each entry, hmm. There was some trick to iterate mutable. Can I just say can I just make this iterator mutable? Okay. What? Cannot borrow. Self is mutable. I don't want to copy it. I want to borrow it. Rust borrow in for loop. I want to dereference the entry, not the result. Thank you. This is my Rust is still not good. So actually here I want to load the rest of the file into so we have a buff reader here, right? And I'm pretty sure the buff reader has a read till the end of the file somewhere. So again, off screen because screen grabber, okay. But basically the buff reader has functions, and then we with capacity C greet. It has a read trait, and the read trait has a read to end. So we have a read to end on standard IO read. So we could just say, here we say let mutable data equals vector new, and ignoring efficiency for now, but basically we say buff reader read to end. I'm not sure why it autocompleted read to end. We'll look into that in a second. And we just give it the mutable data. Right? So where did it find read to end? Oh. Yeah. And here it also found it. So this is obviously wrong, but it works. And then this load from archive. This says, okay, I have my offset. So basically what I want is in C for, I want to mem copy something. And obviously The entry then needs data. And the data is an option, because it doesn't need to be there, of a slice of Q8, I would say. I would say it's a vector of U8. Not sure if vector is the correct type here, but in this case we just say data is none. And in this case we say data is none. Oops, wrong language. Oh, no. Obviously the mem copy here is wrong. Still working. So what we actually want to do is actually we want a vec here, right? So far so good. And now we just want to copy part of the... Okay, so what we could just do is self.data equals vec new, right? But actually what we want to do is we want to have data, and there's a subvector, vector and subvector. Just reading the... No subvector? I thought there was... Can we just say data and then use a range? My Rust is not as strong as your Rust, so... So... I'm currently scrolling through the Rust documentation for vector. I want kind of a clone range. Rust vec clone range. Hmm. Hmm. How do I... So memory has a vector has a copy memory. I'm not a fan. We're getting deep into this Rust stuff right now, so I mean, we could just say okay, let start equal self dot pos and let end equal start plus self dot size. Let me just say start to end, right? And then we just clone this. Yeah. Slice indices. The type cannot be indexed by range. What? This I hate being this explicit. Okay. Rust vec from slice. Can I just say, can I say self dot data dot clone from slice and then just say start and I'm memory juggling in Rust is still super new for me. No field clone from slice. Okay, there's copy from slice. Oh. Yeah, maybe I should tell it. Maybe I should tell it what it is supposed to clone. I'm gonna I just want an empty vector for now. Oh, and obviously we have to borrow this is not the final version. This is again we going into have a working version and then have a good version. Destination and source slices have different lengths. Okay, fair enough. I mean, the destination is zero size, so self.data. Sorry, I have to look into the documentation again. Standard vec has. Does it have a resize? It has a resize. It has a resize with. Resize. Resize new size. So resize self.size. Expected 2 parameters. What? I'm not a fan because it's basically pre-filling with. You can be a bit killed. Why was the first one killed? This should be fine, right? This is not the. I want to put it to do here. Idiomatic way. Basically, this is loading everything into memory, and I'm not a fan. I kind of would like to load the whole thing into memory and then just reference it, but I am not sure. That's too much Rust memory stuff going on, and it's getting late, so basically here we can just write it, right? I mean, we have a save method up here, which basically says, oh, we just steal this. Did we just? Is that the stolen part? Oh, it's the stolen part already. Including the to do. No, that was almost what we wanted. So the output file is. Let's copy this. Let's copy this. We don't need a buffer. Basically, we say entry.data. And this is not public, so it will probably fail right now. Why can I access boarding to? Oh, create file name. And yeah, force override, error handling, danger. So well, OX505 has 4 fours in it. So that was our 4 file. Or OX800 has 2 twos. Or C3 has 3 threes. Or F9 has 1 1. So it's not nice, but unpacking works, and we really need to implement, and I'm going to put this on the list, implement file name flags for archive, implement file name storing for archive. That's the flag we had used, so we don't get the ugly CRC names, but at least the clean names, or we could have a side file, or and this is kind of okay-ish. I mean, the usage pattern will probably not be unpacked. This is just for debugging, but probably it will be, hey archive, I have this CRC, give me the data. And so we could actually do this right now. Instead of iterating and using the entry, we could ask the archive, hey, give me the data for this entry, and already drive that interface. But I think this is good enough for today. We had hoped to do 1.5 hours. It was 3 hours now, and I need some food. And I like how this turned out. It's a lot of non-idiomatic Rust, but again, I prefer to have it working first, then understand why it's not working, and then search for different solutions. Otherwise, we would have gone down, I don't know, 15 rabbit holes here. And I don't like the copying of the data around, because we constantly copy it around. And then here this whole thing should probably be like, hey, read this into a struct and be done. I wonder what happens if I Google Rust zero copy struct. So there's a crate called zero copy, and utilities for safe zero copy parsing and serialization. This crate provides utilities which make it easy to perform zero-copy parsing and serialization by allowing zero-copy conversion to and from byte slices. Ka-ching! Yeah, that would have helped. Next time. So I'm gonna push this. Well, let's check if the pack is still working, because we really need this. So pack is still working. Unpack is working. It will fail if files are not overwritable and stuff, and it will probably destroy your hard disk if you do something stupid here, but for me that's good enough for today. Let's look at, okay, we added the data, and room for improvement. But oh yeah, and we added the subcommand for unpack, and probably this should be an else if let, and the else, hey, I have no clue what you're talking about, but let's stage this, and we need to git ignore. Added first version of unpack, commit, fetch, rebase, and push, and have fun. My PlayStation controller just died, so I'll need some time, but I'll probably be back in an hour and an hour and a half, and we're gonna play a little bit of Burnout, and I'll tell you why. Until then, I think we had a pretty productive day today. I like what we did here, and we did more than adding unpack support. Actually, we did unpack v1 v0.1, and it's kind of working, so that's a good start. As always, feel free, especially if you're a Rust expert, to look at the experiments, send pull requests. Right now, only minor cleanups and making it more idiomatic. So if you say, hey, this pattern that you use is totally broken, let me know. Send a pull request. No major restructuring. I probably won't accept anything more than 5 to 10 lines. So yeah, thanks for being here with me, and I am out for today.